Woo! Cat!
Let's get ready to rumble!
I'm a bad man! I still got the world! I still got the world! My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious.
I feel I'm the best ever. I broke everybody's record. Tell me who record I haven't broke.
Colossal Boxing Talk.
What about Rocky Marciano? Oh, there they go. There they go. Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out their ass. That's the one. That's the one. Rocky Marciano. Rocky Marciano. Let me tell you something wonderful. Rocky Marciano was good, but compared to Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano ain't shit. He beat Joe Louis's ass. That's right. He did whoop Joe Louis' ass. Joe Louis was 75 years old when he fought. I don't know how old he was. We got an ass whooping. Joe Louis had come out of retirement to fight Rocky Marciano. The man was 76 years old. Joe Louis always lied about his age. He lied about his age all the time. One time, Frank Sinatra comes out here and sat down this chair. I said, Frank, you hang out with Joe Louis. Just between me and you, how old is Joe Louis? You know what Frank told me? He said, hey, Joe Louis 137 years old. 137 years old. Oh, man, you ain't never meet no Frank Sinatra. Fuck you. Fuck you and fuck you. Who's next?
What's up, YouTube? Smooth Cat back today, and this is my show that I do. It's called Forgotten Fighters, and the fighter I chose today as my forgotten fighter is Rocky Marciano. He was born Rocco Francis Marciano, September 1st, 1923, in Brockton, Massachusetts. Okay. Overall, as we know, Rocky Marciano, his as an amateur, his amateur record was 9 wins, 4 losses with 7 knockouts. He didn't, as you see, his amateur background is only 13 fights, so he didn't have an extensive amateur background, but he showed signs of being a very solid fighter. So, with that being said, some of his accomplishments in his career: in 1952, he was the Ring Fighter of the Year in 1952, 1954, and 1955. Also, Marciano, he was involved in the Fighter of the Year 3 times. In 1952 against Jersey Joe Walcott, the first fight. The 1953 against Roland LaStarza, his second fight with him. And 1954, Rocky Marciano versus Ezra Charles, the second fight. Also, he, as we know, he, he was inducted into the ring ball. He was elected to the Ring Boxing Hall of Fame in 1959, the World Boxing Hall of Fame in 1980, and the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1990. On a lot of people's lists, Rocky Marciano is listed as, in 1994, he was listed as the 4th greatest heavyweight of all time. In 1997, he moved down some. He was listed as the 7th greatest puncher of all time. And also, he was named the 9th greatest fighter of the 20th century in 1999. But also, he was named the 3rd greatest heavyweight of the 20th century of all time as well. But Rocky Marciano, as I say, very solid fighter. He he has a lot of quality names on his resume. He has Ezra Charles, Joe Louis, Jersey Joe Walcott, and I mean, you can like go on for days and days about things with him. But I always felt he was underappreciated. A lot of people, I mean, the time when he was coming up, it was a lot of segregation, a lot of race-related things going on. But, I mean, that doesn't take away from who he was as a fighter. He was a small heavyweight at that. He was 5'10". He came into some fights weighing 178 pounds, going up against heavyweights weighing 200, 210, maybe 220, 230-ish at the most. But, excuse me, he was a very small guy. And, I mean, he was relentless in the ring, very relentless. He always had an iron chin. I seen him hit with some shots that would have knocked down some walls, but Rocky Marciano, he always continue to keep coming forward. But also, like something else, like I say, with Rocky Marciano, he gets a lot of slack because the perception is that he let a lot of fighters get old before he fought them, and to an extent, I mean, it was, but a lot of people base their disdain toward him off of the Joe Louis fight. And with Joe Louis, as we know, Joe Louis was up in age. He did come out of retirement to fight Marciano, but it's like Joe Louis, he was toward the end of his career, but Rocky Marciano, he didn't want to take that fight because Joe Louis was his idol. And in the locker room after the fight, when he KO'd Joe Louis, he went to the locker room and he cried. He was crying tears because he was so hurt that he had to fight his idol, and he felt that he hurt his idol, so he was hurt from that. So a lot of people don't necessarily know about that, or they tend to forget that part. But as I say, Rocky Marciano, he was a very solid fighter, and he very compassionate. But as we know, he still holds the record as the a heavyweight champion, retiring undefeated. And like I said, kind of touch on a few of his fights. The last fight of his career was against Archie Moore. As we know, Archie Moore, dangerous fighter, very highly skilled, fast, decent, good power. Archie Moore he was an animal, but in their fight, Rocky Marciano, as he always did, he applied relentless pressure, kept coming, and he was he was actually knocked down in the fight by Moore. Moore knocked him down in the second round. He got up at the count of 2, but in the fight he got up to actually knock Moore down 4 times, and he ended up scoring the knockout in the 9th round of like I say, a very exciting fight. But overall, like I say, he's one of those guys. He's very underappreciated. You catch a lot of people, they say things like, okay, he was never anything special. To apply that type of pressure and the pressure he applied to fighters for 15 rounds, you cannot tell me just anybody can go and do that. Anybody can't do that, because for 15 rounds, that shows he had a lot of stamina. He also, like I say, man, I'm not into trying to degrade fighters at all. Rocky Marciano is one of the greatest fighters of all time, and I feel a lot of people ignore that. But honestly, I'll say this: Rocky Marciano, I feel. Okay, we can speak on the Ezra Charles fight, the the fight of the year fight. In that fight, Rocky Marciano had a cut over his nose that was basically had him in danger of being stopped. The fight being stopped and Charles winning, but Rocky Marciano turned the pressure up, and he ended up knocking Ezra Charles down in the second round, and then he knocked him down again in the 8th round, and that was before he scored the knockout. But like I say, overall, this guy, he's fought some of the biggest punchers out there. He took their punches and he kept coming. And like I say, you got to tip your hat to him. He retired undefeated, and he had the type of style that a lot of people feel is vulnerable, but he shows some vulnerabilities. But every fighter shows vulnerabilities, no matter how your style is. But like I say, he pressed you like no other. And with that being said, it's been hard for anybody to really try to duplicate what he did in his career. But overall, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not gonna hold you guys too long today. I was just highlighting some things about Rocky Marciano because I feel he's not necessarily forgotten, but this my show is named Forgotten Fighters, but he's an underappreciated fighter. So this is my first this is still Forgotten Fighters because a lot of people don't know Rocky Marciano, but it's a majority of casuals who don't know who he is. But I mean, regardless, they still need to know something about this man. But overall, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not gonna hold you guys too long today. Hopefully, you guys hit that like button for me. Leave comments in the comments section. I'll definitely get back to you at my earliest convenience. Also, hit the subscribe button on the Colossal Boxing Talk YouTube page. You can go to Facebook and like the Colossal Boxing Talk page there. You can go to Twitter and Instagram and follow us at Colossal CBT. I'm Smooth Cat, and I'm out.